Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of writing exponential functions. This is standard A.9C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 9 of the 2022 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So we have an exponential function, and we need to find which equation best represents that graph. So what do we know about exponential functions? Well, exponential functions have this standard form right here, y equals a times b to the x power. And so this a can represent multiple things depending on the context. If we're dealing with compound interest, and investment, and savings, it could be the principal. In general, we can call it the starting or the initial amount. But since we're dealing with graphs, we could also call it our y-intercept. Why do we call it the y-intercept? Well, remember, the y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis when the x equals 0. What happens if we were to make x equals 0 right here? I'd make it b to the 0. Anything to the 0 is just 1. So really, when x is 0, y equals a. So that's helpful to know. And then we've got b, that's our rate. So it's going to either be a growth rate. If this b is greater than 1, it's going to be a decay rate if it is less than 1. And then the x is going to be our step. So typically the x is just going up by ones. In bigger context, it might be every year, every month, every week, but it's just our step. Now, take a look at this. You can see here, obviously going left to right, that this is a decay rate. So that means we should be looking for a b term that is less than 1. So right now, I'm thinking c and d are out of the picture. Could be a, could be b, because those are both less than 1. Right? If it's a growth rate, it would kind of look like this. That'd be growth. All right, so what do we know about our y-intercept? Look at that right there. I've got a y-intercept of 1. So that means that I can say y equals, or I can say p of x, since that's what we're dealing with here, p of x equals, my a term is going to be 1, which means it's going to just basically disappear. 1 times b to the x power, right? We'll take a look at the two that I've got left. The two that I've got left are a and b. That's my a term right there. That means that the y-intercept is at 2, but the y-intercept is obviously not at 2. The y-intercept is at 1. So I'm thinking it's a. So how do we know for sure? Well, what we need to do is we need to take another point here. So I see probably I've got that negative 1, 4. It's kind of hard to see some of these points. Let's go ahead and plug that in. Okay, so if my p of x equals 4, I'm going to just delete that 1 because it's not really there. It's b to the negative 1. Okay, so 4 equals 1 over b. Now I need to multiply both sides by b to get that out of the denominator. So 4b equals 1. Divide both sides by 4, right? And so b equals 1/4. Okay, so 1/4 equals that 0.25. So yes, we're looking good right there. So we can say p of x equals, my a term is 1, which we're just going to pretend like it's not there. My b term is 1/4, or 0.25 to the x. And so this, we need to know, looks just like this, because the 1 can disappear, since anything times 1 is just itself. We're rewriting the 1/4 as the 0.25. And there we go. That's my a, that's my b. We've got our answer here of A.